But I'm gonna end off there so that Tar could take the baton and do his thing.
Come to you, Tal.
All right, that was a wonderful introduction because, like you said, Ed, the question you asked and brought up about the oil and all that stuff, it leads back into religion. And in noon, we were taught and found that it's true that religion is a spell, and it existing at this last part of the moon cycle that's overlapping into the sun cycle is causing a war between right and wrong. And the only reason people can't understand what's going on is because we've been given doctored up, redacted up information, misinformation mixed up and separated, and we only seeing the versions that they want us to see. And since you're in America, to add on what the Nuke was saying, that again, the reason they bring all these immigrants in is because of one of the long games was after they gave us the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The small hats, right the next year, brought in the 1965 Nationality Act, and that allowed more Northern Europeans who were more genetically similar to the Europeans that came during the beginning of the country's seeding and overtaking, allowed them to come in larger numbers, and certain ages and another race of people. And they did that to counteract not only us, it also allowed them to come in and compete with us against the jobs that we was trying to get.
In 1965, the Democratic establishment pulled off the greatest magic trick in American political history. They had all of Black America looking at the right hand, celebrating the Voting Rights Act, the marches, and the end of Jim Crow. But while we were distracted by the ballot, the left hand was quietly signing a bill that would dismantle the Black American middle class before it had even had a chance to stand up. It was called the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. They slipped it through Congress just 2 months after the Voting Rights Act. They sold it to us as another civil rights victory. They told us it was about fairness. In reality, it was a calculated economic trade. At the moment, Black men were finally getting access to the high-wage union jobs in places like Detroit, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and more. But this bill, it sneaked in a mechanism to flood those same cities with a new, cheaper immigrant labor workforce. They handed us the vote with one hand, and they slashed our wages and economics with the other. Timing. In history, dates matter. Coincidences are rarely coincidences. Think about the year 1965. If you are a Black American, 1965 is kind of a mountaintop. It is the year we got the Voting Rights Act. It is 1 year after the Civil Rights Act. It was the moment where, after 400 years of free labor and 100 years of Jim Crow, the Black worker finally had the legal power to demand a fair wage. We finally had the leverage. But on October 3rd of that very same year, Lyndon B. Johnson signed another law, one that most people ignore, the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, aka the Hart-Celler. It we're looking at the Hart-Celler Act completely destabilized the black economy.
Now you think these black Democrats don't know about this? NAACP don't know about this? The fake Black Panthers don't know about this? Illegal immigration destroying the black community, the black businesses, the black growth, the black economy, the color, and you still pushing for it? That shows you they ain't on our side. They ain't not on our side. They are enemies.
There is a real reckoning happening. Now, by the way, there are self-hating people in any group, right? And there are some Jews that are still like making excuses for all this. Not all of them, though. You're starting to see a fair amount start to defect and say, hold on a second. What have we done? Maybe those crazy right-wingers were right about immigration, that you can't keep on importing people that don't share your values. The ADL, by the way, has spent decades. The ADL raises nearly $100 million a year to just quote-unquote fight anti-Semitism. They've been oddly quiet recently. Why? It's because they're only focused on random conservatives in middle America. The ADL makes liberals think that random Trump voters in Idaho want to do a second Holocaust, when the Jew haters were right in front of them the whole time. In fact, the ADL demanded we let the Jew haters in. And in a stunning turn of events, the people that the ADL said were Jew haters are actually the biggest defenders of Judaism in Israel right now in the country. Us, conservative evangelical Christians. And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical open border neoliberal quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more, draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me. I will not live through another Holocaust. I'm not gonna do.
And so people don't know nothing about that, but they should go back and research the 1965 Nationality Act. And this is why Charlie Kirk had said that the Zionist Jews are responsible for large influxes of immigrants in the UK and in America and abroad. And that tied into a book that they put out called The Decline of the West at about like 1902 or 1909. And I spoke about this before, me and the Sullivan was talking about this December 2024 when I was doing the Leviathan wrap-up. And I mentioned that, and I put the clip, and it showed that they predicted that America's ending would rise when it's so many immigrants brought in on purpose to help break the system and overrun it as far as its capacity to take care of people. But that was more on the line of the Democrats. And like Anoop said, Biden threw an alley-oop to Anoop because it gave Iceman a way in. Because remember, they have to change because the truth been coming out about the New World Order and FEMA camps. So all the stuff they was planning originally had to change it up. So instead of bringing in or making the military turn against the people, the military is not going to turn against the people because now it then came out what Israel is doing. But it's bigger and deeper than that. And so what I want to do is follow the same thing that Anoop was doing when he started off. And I'm gonna show you something as well. So let me know when you can see that.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so this was what me and Anoop been working on for the last 2 weeks. We started off with Revelation chapter 11, and then we've been going out in different directions from that to Revelation 16, and Revelation chapter 20. So these here deals with the Gog and Magog. Afroon had already told us who these people are in our books. And so when I started looking more and more into it, I pieced it together. So the World War III is lining up with what Israel is doing according to the Zionists in the late 1800s with Theodore Herzl and a bunch of them, and something they call Christian dispensation, where they came together. Now, mind you, Herzl was an atheist.
So many of these people who became Zionists had drifted away from religion. Herzl, for instance, didn't have his son circumcised, and he shocked the chief rabbi of Vienna, who paid him a courtesy call one December, probably asking him, isn't it about time you came along to synagogue, and found Herzl setting up a Christmas tree, which was a definite no-no in the eyes of the chief rabbi of Vienna in 1895. And the other big thing for the Jews was the revival of the the other big thing for the Zionists, not the Jews, was the revival of the Hebrew language as a national language for the Jews. Now, another form of Jewish nationalism that hasn't survived, called Bundism, wanted to big up Yiddish instead, because that is what most Jews spoke.
And he didn't believe in God, but they wanted to create a state for Jews to go. Now, mind you, they already got a place in Russia, where the Jews had a homeland in Russia.
I just found out there is another Jewish state in Siberia.
It has its own rules, its own capital, and even its own flag. They speak Yiddish, have Jewish schools, and pray in their own synagogues.
And it's freezing.
This is Birubijan. It's a Jewish autonomous region in Siberia, located right on the border with China. It was established in 1934 after the Soviet Union put sanctions on Jews that made many of them unemployed, until eventually they decided to send Jews to live far away in a region in Siberia and give them autonomy. Then, after World War II, Stalin began persecuting the Jews in Birubijan, and today there are only a few thousand Jews living there, but it's still officially a Jewish territory.
Birubijan was originally created to separate the Jews from the Russians as an act of anti-Semitism. But the Jews who stayed there proved to all of us that whatever obstacle comes your way, nothing in the world can take away from you what's in your hearts.
But they didn't want that. And so they ended up through their shenanigans and the Bolshevik wars, where they murdered at least 6 to 10 million Christians.
Yes.
And got ran up out of there to Germany.
Out of 556, 457 were Jews. And he goes on listing every single member with their nationality. Look at this. So, this is thorough, okay? This is thorough. Not to mention, many other people have spoken about this. David Francis, United States Ambassador in Russia, warned in January 1918, dispatched to Washington, the Bolshevik leaders here, most of whom are Jews and 90% of whom are returned exiles, care little for Russia or any other country, but are internationalists, and they are trying to start a worldwide social revolution. So, David Francis, an ambassador to Russia, gives this chilling warning back, reporting that this is a overthrow of a government. The Netherlands ambassador in Russia, Oudendike, I don't know.
And there's a Russian proverb I just came across the other day. Say the small hat will always tell you what happened to him, but never what he did. And so we always get one side, Hitler, Holocaust. But you never hear the other side of it. They always paint themselves as the victim, but they are actually not the victim. They are the prime, what's the word you call the person that's the bad guy in the movie? The prime
Protagonist.
Antagonist in the world of human beings. And so by Noon had already told us that the moon god, after he extracted the Caucasian out of the Hindu race, the small hats were the group that was chosen by the moon god to be the smartest and the most aggressive and the most cunning. So we already knew that. What we didn't know is just the geopolitical side of it. And so once me and Anoop started dipping and dabbing into politics heavy in 2019 is why we're at where we're at now. And we're able to come back and tell the world what we're doing. So here, Anoop had wonderfully put the evidence to what Afro Uno said, that the 6-pointed star came from the Hindus. So when Anoop did more research, that star is what I think is called the Shatkona. And that's a Hindu star. That's where the Jews get this 6-pointed star from.
Now here you have Shiva and Shakti. So the 6-pointed star or hexagram is one of the oldest universal symbols that goes all the way back to ancient India, being known as the Shakona, which represents the union of the masculine and feminine energies of the soul. That the 6-pointed star is the merger of the left and right hemispheres of the brain. You have the Magen David or the Magen David, a 6-pointed star formed by 2 overlapping triangles, but it symbolizes spiritual connection, upward triangle to God and the world down.
The Dakshineshwar Kali Temple, named after the village where it is built. Here the goddess is called Shri Shri Jagadishwari Kali Mata Thakurani. The holy idol is carved in black stone. It rests on a raised throne of 1,000-petaled silver lotus. Her 2 left hands represent her destructive power, while the 2 right hands are raised in Abhaya and Bara Mudra, the symbols of benevolence and protection. Shakti is energy, primordial, cosmic, eternal. As goddess, Shakti is all-powerful, destroyer of evil, demon slayer, the ultimate warrior. Her wrath is all-consuming, her legend soaked in blood. But when she is calm, she is the divine savior, protector, healer, mother of all creation. As goddess, Shakti has many forms, like Durga and Kali. In Hindu mythology, both Durga and Kali are forms of Shakti. And Shakti is the equal half of Shiva Shakti, the divine masculine and feminine energies essential for all life.
But originally their power symbol was the cross. But they switched it over again to be cunning and hide. Go ahead.
Is there no truth to that star being the star of Renfam, which I hear a lot of?
Yeah, they use that, but I wanted to do more research on it to bring that out, because again, they're not going to tell you. But the reason how we know this, because that star, it comes from the group of people that they came out of. So I'm going to reserve my answer on the reference, because I plan to do more deep searching there, because they use that in the Old Testament. So I'm going to reserve my response to that, and I'm going to come back to that. So here we have the seven-headed beast in Daniel versus the seven-headed 10-crowned beast in Revelation. But we know that the lion is Israel. That's their animal sign, because the Bible uses animals, because, like Afro said, the powers of the bottom half in religion and spirit beings in general in 6 ether is what? The zodiac.
I had another comment come in, and this fella or woman, I don't even know, man or woman, asked if it's possible, some of the things we teach, of course, with the Daniel 7, the bear, the lion, the leopard, and dreadful beast, lion with the eagle's wings. Is it possible, we're kind of a little bit moving in our topic here, is it possible that the lion in the United States is not Great Britain and the United States, but Israel and the United States? Because Israel is called a lion, or similar to that in Scripture. So one thing we need to remember about Scripture, word studies are really good, but just because Israel might be represented as a lion does not mean that every time we see lion, it's got to do with Israel. Because Satan is a roaring lion. So we're looking at two spectrums here. So just because they've been used as being a lion, and Yeshua is the lion, so it could be Yeshua and the United States together. So I'm not trying to be silly here. I'm just trying to say is that we've got to look at the bigger picture. And in this case, in my understanding of the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the dreadful beast, it tells us that they are kingdoms. We know that they're kingdoms. If these prophecies are at the end of time, these kingdoms must be the most dominant kingdoms in the world, otherwise they wouldn't be mentioned. They're the ones that call the shots in the world. And when we examine that, we can see clearly that we have a large horn in Daniel 8 and 4 smaller horns. So we have 5 kingdoms. So that's why we see the lion and the eagle as a joint kingdom made up of 2 different kingdoms, one being a lion, one being an eagle. The eagle's wings are plucked off, and the lion goes on by itself, and the large horn is broken, and the 4 horns continue as the 4 beasts continue in Daniel 7. So looking at the bigger picture, in Daniel 7, it does not look like the lion is Judah or Yeshua or Israel, but it's another kingdom that's represented as a lion. And it just so happens that we have a lion kingdom, a kingdom that is represented as a lion in Great Britain, and we have an eagle represented as the United States. Now, it is true that in times past, other kingdoms have been represented as lions, like Babylon, and eagles, that was the symbol on Hitler's. They had an eagle. They would march in and there was an eagle. Rome had an eagle as a symbol as well. But if these prophecies are in the time of the end, we're not talking about Rome anymore or Hitler. We're talking about kingdoms and the time of the end that are represented, and we're talking major kingdoms that are represented by these beasts. So my understanding, especially when we get to Revelation 13, we see a conglomerate beast that's made up of a lion, a bear, a leopard, and it's got the 7 heads, so that would be the dreadful beast of Daniel 7. They are now all one, and they are moving forward as all one, as a new world system. And I have chosen that word carefully, because when you say other things, you can get docked points and lose your privilege on YouTube. So we don't want to do that, because everyone knows what I'm talking about when we have this new world system that is made up of all the nations of the world that will come in conformity to this new world system, and there will be 10 kings that rule. We see that clearly in Revelation, and they're revealed by these beasts that come together. And we see in this new world system that the United States is not part of it. The eagle's wings were plucked off, and therefore are not shown in the beast of Revelation 13. They are not part of that beast in Revelation 13.
So all these mankind races are represented by animals. So we always knew this based upon the writings. And as time our reason increased, we just was able to be guided and use our reasonability to understand. And all these other animals around Israel, are its allies. And that these particular groups of people manifested in what we call the 7-headed beast, is who I figured out last year was the G7. And Anouk figured out that the 10 crowns was the BRIC nations. So that's when we started able to marry both the religious and the political aspect. And then Anouk also added, thank you, that the teeth of NATO is the weapons. That's who they use to go out and do their bidding, unless they're using the CIA or the Mossad or other small groups in other countries that they pay money to keep the bull crap going. And Gog and Magog, which Afruna had already explained to us, was the Asians, because they're called Japeth in the table of races of the so-called sons of Noah. So you have Shem is the small hats, Ham is the Arabs, and in this case, Japhet is the Mongolians or the Asians as a group. But
so sibling, where would the black folk be in that?
We're not in that. They say Ham is Africa because they're adding in because the Arab basically followed us around the globe. And they didn't have nowhere to put us, but they put us in there as Canaan and said we was the curse. But when you look up Canaan and Ham, we know that goes back to the Arab.
All right, 2 Minute Calm, Peace in War Times. This is part 4 of Atonism, Akhenaten, his spirit, and young Pharaoh. All right, so I'm going to jump back because now we finna go into Akhenaten or the bloodline and stuff like that. But I wanted to just reiterate the scientific analysis of who the Phoenician race is, which we already brought this to y'all, that the Phoenicians in Noon are the Arabs of today, and in the Bible in Genesis, the Phoenician or the Arabs are Canaan. All right, but let's deal with this right here first. All right, so listen to Sunray Cosmic Reason. Let's look at some points. The Phoenician race are people like Arabs, haplogroup E, Spaniards, Turks, and Latinos. This writer, Mary Tarkina Unu Nupu, Black Communication 9 Foundation, adds another group of people to this list called the Berbers. Haplogroup J, both groups are genetically linked. All right, so we know that they're part of the Y chromosome. Haplogroups E and J was investigating 2,400 subjects from 29 populations, mainly from Europe and the Mediterranean area, but also from Africa and Asia. All right, so we jump down some, right, and it just tell you that they came in from above the Horn of Africa, from Iberia Peninsula and stuff like that, and they migrated down. So we get down here to the Berbers. The Berbers and the Arabs, there's no genetic difference from them. And you come down a little bit more, the Phoenician Arabs and Berbers were the actual Egyptian ruling Kemet in the 18th dynasty and still there today as Muslims. The Meshwesh, often abbreviated in ancient Egyptian as Ma, was an ancient Libyan Berber tribe along with other groups like Libu and Tihinau. Early records of the Meshwesh date back to the 18th dynasty of Egypt from the reign of Amenhotep III, all right, 1390 BC to 1350 BC. So we're going to start with that, all right? So it said that the Arabs and the Berbers go all the way back to the 18th dynasty, starting with the reign of Amenhotep. Not saying that's when they were in Kemet starting in the 18th dynasty. It goes further back, but let's just remember this. Amenhotep III, all right? Let's keep it moving. All right, Truman the Carter piece of wartime. This is the little piece I want to add in before we jump into the video. All right, this is coming from the identity of the historical Jesus according to Noon Science. I stopped at part 10. This part I didn't add in yet. I was going to come back to this at another time, but since we on the subject of who were in Kemet at a certain time, I thought this would be good to add on to the Phoenicians. So this is some stone makings of what the Phoenicians look like. It said Phoenicians bringing gifts for the Persian king, Persepolis relief, 5th century BC. All right. Phoenicians, also known as Canaanites. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japeth, and Ham is the father of Canaan, Genesis 9:18. The table of nations according to Genesis chapter 9. All right, so you got Noah, then you have Japhet, got some people over here, then we got Ham and Shem over here. So notice I boxed in Ham, and then one of the sons of Ham, according to these tables, was Canaan. All right. As history records that the black Phoenicians or Arabs called themselves Canaanites, then why is Canaan put as the son of Ham? See? Canaan should be in place of Ham. This means tampering has been going on. Canaanites are mentioned 55 times in the Old Testament from Genesis to Obadiah. This makes no sense, being the word Phoenician is in the Bible spelled slightly different. Yet the Bible editors wrote these two names as two different groups of people. Also, there is a land called Phoenicia in the Bible as well.
too many color piece at one time. I wanted to add this in from the dictionary. All right, so we got here is 3667 for Canaan. For those who don't know, this is also symbolic of the Phoenicians, because the Phoenician Arab race or mankind race number is 666. So we have the number 3, we have 2 number 6, and the 7. When you look at it in the Hindu numbering system, it's actually in the 6th place. So basically, you're looking at 3666. All right, so we see Canaan, as they claim, was the son of Ham, which I already told y'all that Canaan should be where Ham is at, because the Phoenicians, they call themselves Canaan, all right, which is the Arabs. So you got Canaan, the son of Ham, all right? That's like saying the son of yourself, which is foolishness, all right? Also the country inhabited by him. When you go down further, you have, what, of a territory of Canaan, which is what? Phoenician, or look, Phoenicia. See? So we already went through that. So they play games by changing the name, but what I thought was interesting was I kept doing and going down, saying land west of Jordan, but this one got my attention when it got down here. It said Canaan designates the land stretching from the river of Egypt to the Lebo-Hamath corridor bounded on the east by the Jordan on the west of the Mediterranean. So I went and I asked ChatGPT, is the Lebo-Hamath corridor the same as the Greater Israel Project? It says yes, the Lebo-Hamath corridor, because you see the word Hamath, all right? It's often associated with the concept of Greater Israel, which envisions an expanded territory for Israel that includes regions from the Nile to the Euphrates, encompassing parts of Lebanon, Syria, and beyond. So we already know that the Adam and Eve group members were, some were Phoenician, some was East Indian, and some was Mongolian. All right, and we know that the Indian came out of the Phoenician or the Arab race. It's a branch of the Phoenician race. So they all are connected. So it tells you that the definition of the Lebo-Hamath corridor is a geographic area that is linked to the concept of what? Greater Israel. It is definitely by the biblical boundaries that extend from the Nile River to the Euphrates River, which includes part of modern-day Lebanon, Syria, and other regions. All right, so I just wanted to add that part in there. Truly called piece of water.
All right, so here you got Phoenician travels, the Isles of Sicily, Europe, Iceland, Crete, Carthago, around Africa, trade routes, ancient Phoenician corn. All right, so we know that these are Arabs. All right, we ought to put the haplogroup and things in the video before this one. All right, this is just for repetition purposes and to add on. All right, so at the start of the expedition, it's just showing how the Phoenician Arabs traveled around Africa. All right, let's see what Ham means in Hebrew. Genesis 9:18. And also, all right, so when we go to look up what Ham means in Genesis 9:18, you get the Hebrew word waham, and it's number 2526, right? And it's a conjugal, right? You get down here 2526, you get what? Cam. Strong Concordance, a son of Noah. They ain't proved that. Also his descendant, also named for what? Egyptian. See? Now it makes sense, because we know that the Phoenicians or the Berbers or haplogroup J and haplogroup E were in Kemet in the 18th dynasty. So see, they say Egyptians, but a lot of us were misinformed over the years that the Egyptians were kick-your-head people. No, not in these dynasties.
But they had to throw us in there just to give us a place to explain us away, because we was before them. You know, so that's all that was. We're not in there. That's why I had a thumbnail which shows these races, because that's not who we are. So we got World War III, the BRICS nation, Gog and Magog, and these are the ones that's gonna fight. I'm glad I didn't delete. These thumbnails. I was just about to do it earlier, but then when Newt did that, that was good. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna share my screen again. I don't know if y'all can still see that.
Now the first image is gone. We're waiting for the second one. There we go.
This is the second one here.
Yes.
So matter of fact, wait. Venetian, yeah. Let me see, let me make sure, because I think I did too. Make sure, because they both are similar, but one I have a change at home. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is the one I had to fix. All right, sorry about that, kids. All right, here we go. You see it now?
Yeah, looks like the same thing.
Yeah, but I had Phoenicia over the word Ham.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So Ham is the Arabs, who some of them were in Africa. Shem is India, and the small hats come out of Shem. But Shem is, they don't want you to understand that when you talking about Shem and talking about Shemitic, you're talking about the Hindus. And Japeth is the Mongolian. So these are three races of people, not the sons of Noah. Because in Noon, Noah represents 6 ether in the flood and evolution as energies, which Newt broke that down in a video we did last year with the Bible interpretation. But just to keep it clean and cut, these are the ones that are fighting now. So Shem, which is the Indian, gave birth to the Caucasian race. And the small hats are Shem that's fighting Ham, and that's our Palestinians, Yemen, everybody over there in that area are Arabs. And those two fighting each other, Shem and Ham, and because they're fighting over the blood of the earth, which is oil, and most of these countries need other oil because Russia don't have its own oil, and neither does China now. And this is what it is, they're fighting over the blood of the earth. You gotta remember that in Noon, we know that spirit beings are demons and dragons and things of that nature. So what the Newt did, he put the spiritual part, he took the human beings' clothes off and left the spirit being. So you see demons pulling on an artery, which is what they're really doing. But because people been under the spell, they don't know that the oil is the blood of the earth. They don't know that. But in Noon, Afro Uno specifically says the oil is the blood of the planet, and that the earth, just as well as the other planets, are female. So they are bigger versions of human beings, just like the human being is a smaller version of the universe, micro and macro. So they don't know that. They've been given modern terms, so they don't understand. But if the whole world knew, really knew from education that the planet was alive and that oil was her blood, people would have more of a pushback. They say, heck no, if you wouldn't want nobody coming to drain your blood and then to make all types of inventions with it, and you just lay there and they just digging you all over the place, that's exactly what is taking place in actual reality.
So question, sibling. So based upon what you're saying currently, within Noon Science, is oil not to be used in the manner that it's being used now? And we
exactly. Right, and that's because our ancients knew where to go. When if you go back, a new video he did on his page, if you get a chance, go back, he breaks down the history of the Strait of Hormuz back to our ancestors, and Kemet and them were protecting that spot and knew it was the neck of the earth, and the Kemet god Horus. That was the original name. What was the name, Anoop? Break it down. Because you can see it in the word Hormuz, and then he had the chat. Go ahead, Anoop.
No, go ahead. Keep, because I was just listening to you, but I didn't expect you to bring it up. But
yeah. So Anoop traced the word Hormuz all the way back to ancient Kemet and the hieroglyphs.
I'm going to stick to this part because we are speaking about this particular sentence or this particular phrase right here, right? Where it says, where it says, in addition, mankind is destroying Mother Earth inside and out by draining Goddess Earth of her oil and other natural resources needed to keep Mother Earth balanced and vivacious, and thereby we on planet Earth are now approaching the danger point of natural cataclysms, catastrophes, and other natural and artificial tragedies. Okay, so that's what's taking place with them drilling and taking the oil. That's what this fight is going on for right now. So I said time to dive back into our geopolitical allegory from the book of Revelation, but we are discussing the Strait of Hormuz. We'll break down the etymology and the connections and what part of the human body would the Strait of Hormuz represent as it pertains to oil, the blood of the planet. I'll also upload the nature books to give you the other body parts of the planet planets. That's in book 2 of the introduction book 2 of the Nature of Nature series. So I uploaded the series to the chat, but I didn't like the direction it was going, so I had to create a whole nother discussion with it. But it started out with the definition, which it was okay with me. All right. So it says, all right, this is a powerful direction. You're basically mapping revelation, geopolitics, planetary anatomy, and human anatomy through noon science. Let's build this step by step and anchor it in your framework. What is it? Physical view: a narrow choke point between the Persian Gulf and the open ocean. 20 to 30% of the world's oil passes through it. It is literally a flow control valve of planetary energy, which is the oil. Etymology breakdown: Hormuz. There's no single agreed origin, but we can break it allegorically and linguistically. It's from the Persian root Hermos or Ormus, possibly tied to Ahura Mazda, right? Meaning divine order or supreme intelligence. All right. It says that already aligns with Nupu and reason and order. Sound symbolism, allegory, deconstruction. Hor echoes Horus, the Egyptian sky, sight, control, and Mos or Moose resonates with mass, mouth, or mucus fluid passage.
With the god Horus. So these places on the earth are just like Lake Victoria is the womb of the African race. These are central spots on the planet that are very, very sensitive, and mankind would call it holy. You know, but at the same time, these are body parts. That part where the Strait of Hormuz is at is actually called, they calling it a choke spot. Yeah. And they didn't start saying this until after the nukes had started saying that it was the neck of the planet. A week later, PBD and them and Valuetainment, all you gotta do is type in the Strait of Hormuz is a choke point, and we know that only choking is dealing with what? The neck.
The neck, yes, and there's some.
Science is the active science of all the world. Thanks for tuning in. True mental cosmic peace.